Today we will be solving multi-step equations with variables on one side of the equals sign. So let's go ahead and try solving this. You see how we have 6x and we also have a negative 8x. We can use that commutative property to move them next to each other and then combine. And so you look at it and you're combining 6x's and you're taking away 8x's from that, and it leaves us with negative 2x. We just bring down the plus 3 and it all equals 13. So from this point, we're just doing opposite operations to solve the equation. So we're going to take away 3 from all sides. So we're left with a negative 2x equals 10. So from this point, you're just dividing by negative 2, and that gives us our answer of negative 5. So same sort of thing on the next problem. We're going to go ahead and collect like terms. So we have the same situation, 2a, and you're taking away a negative 8a. Now notice that I circled the sign that's in front of the term. So if it's a minus, you could always treat that as plus negative. So that's why I'm taking those two away from each other. So that leaves us with negative 6a plus 3 equals 8. So from this point, we're doing opposite operations again, taking 3 away from all sides, and I'm left with that negative 6a equals positive 5. So when I do the division, if it ends up being a fraction, it's the way it is. And so I'm dividing by negative 6. 6 does not go into 5, but it is a fraction. It's smaller than 1, and there's our answer. It's actually smaller than 0 too because it's negative. So negative 5/6. So let's take a look at our next one. This one has some fractions in it. However, in the problem, I can eliminate the fractions when I do the subtraction, I see. Or actually, when I add the 21.5 to both sides. I see the decimals will end up canceling. So I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms first. So that leaves me with a 3x, subtracting again once more because they are opposite in sign, and I bring down that negative 21 5/10, so it equals negative 15.5. So the next step would be to add that 21 5/10 to both sides. Now I do end up subtracting those two numbers because they're opposite in sign. So in this situation I need to do the problem off to the side to make sure I get the subtraction done right. And so I'm subtracting, got to put the bigger number on top though. And when I do that, I end up having to borrow. And that's where you'd end up making an error if you didn't do this. So that makes 1, so it's really just 6 is what's left over. So let's go ahead and rewrite what we've got. 3x equals 6. Now it's positive 6 because I have more positives than I have negatives. So the next step would be just to divide by 3, and we'll have our answer. So x equals 2. Next problem, this one is a little bit more difficult because there's more decimals involved. So there is a way to cancel out the decimals just like we could cancel out fractions. So what I'm going to end up doing here is multiplying this entire equation by 10, but you got to multiply every number by 10 in order to do this. Now what it does is it eliminates the decimals. It makes bigger numbers, but you don't have the decimals, so I think you might make less errors. So this is negative 8, because I just moved it over one space when you multiply by 10. Here I have negative 2d, a positive 2, and it equals 40. 40 because 4 times 10 is 40. So that's where I say the numbers get bigger. And so from this point we're combining the constants this time. Again, subtracting because they're opposite in sign. So negative 6 minus 2d equals 40. And then from this point we're just doing opposite operations. So here I'm adding 6 to all sides. That leaves me with the negative 2d equals 46. So one more step here of dividing by that negative 2 on both sides. And when we do that, we're left with a d equals negative, because there's one negative here, 23. So our next problem, we are reading it. It says Al and Ed's total bill, including tip, so including the tip, was $34. So this is a total bill, so we know this is the total. So 34 is going to equal something. Al's portion of the bill was twice. So Al's was twice as much as Ed's. And they each left a $2 tip. So we have Al's portion, we have Ed's portion, and they each left a $2 tip. So we have 2 plus 2. So we know their total tip was $4 when we add those two tips together. So what we want to do, though, just like we had done yesterday, we want to just have one unknown. So what we're going to do is write an expression for one of these. Now, let's read this part again here. Al's portion of the bill is twice Ed's portion. So that means that, let's write that down. Al equals twice Ed. Ed twice means 2 times. So let me go ahead and go to this twice here. Twice means 2 times Ed. So instead of writing A, let's write 2E in place of A right here. So now we'll only have one unknown. Twice Ed's, which is Al's portion, plus Ed's, plus, now I'll go ahead and add those two together. 4 equals 34. So from this point, we can go ahead and combine these two terms. That makes 3E plus, now let's go ahead and move this 4 over to the other side right now. So take it away from both sides. So 3E equals 30. So all we have to do from that point is divide by 3, and we'll have our answer. E equals 10. So $10 was Ed's portion. To find Al's portion, you just have to put the 10 back in for E and double it. So Al's portion is going to be $20. So that's how we ended up with those numbers. Here it says 3 people ordered the daily special. Each person had a $2 coupon. Okay, so $2 coupon means that they're going to take that away. So take away $2. Each person, though, means we're going to take away another 2 and another 2 because there were 3 people altogether. They left a $6 tip and spent a total of $39. So 39 is going to equal, and then we're going to, they left a $6 tip, so that's a plus. So tip means that it's going to add to the total. But they each had a coupon, so notice that right here, this is going to equal -6. So that's where I'm getting that from. So this -6 came from those coupons that they all used. So these two will cancel each other out. And it says that they each ordered the same thing. They each ordered the daily special. We don't know what the daily special is, so we'll just call it, how about D for daily. So this daily special right here is D. And there's 3 of them, so that's what they ordered. So these two, again, these will cancel each other out, leaving us just with 3D equals 39. And so all we have is just now one step of dividing by 3 on both sides. So the daily special costs $13. That's what they wanted us to find. So those are the types of problems you're going to see on tonight's homework. Good luck.